Hello guys and welcome to a new series here on my YouTube channel, guys. This is something very experimental and we're gonna start with a couple of months back. I had a poll out for you guys where you guys had the chance to state your opinion of what you want to see on the channel, what type of contents and so on. Only 3% of you were like, yeah, give me F1 23, F1 24 career mode. And for those 3%, yep, here we are, guys. We are starting our F1 24 my own team career mode. And the reason why I'm doing this intro is I quickly want to explain the reasoning behind it. Despite only 3% on the poll wanted it, and I've really looked closely into the feedback you guys have given me back on the poll, I still wanted to do this in a new way, and this is why this is going to be experimental. As a streamer and as a content creator, you always need to learn new things, you need to learn new techniques, you also want to establish yourself some routines for new stuff. And last but not least, I want you guys to still have the opportunity to see what I'm up against that, or what is driving my mind. So I have decided to do these races all on my own, all off the camera, just recorded and in the end cropped the highlights together. And that is going to be my experimental project for the summer. I don't know how frequent I will release new episodes on this, but I want to get a little bit into that storytelling and give you an exciting, rather 20-minute to watch instead of a full 3-hour, like this is round 5 of the season video. So yeah, that is the reasoning behind it. So as an intro, guys, we have chosen a couple of options for the career mode. So it's going to be a my team career mode. That means we're not only going to drive, but we also have to manage the team. And yeah, I have some bullet points down here to not forget about the slightest detail that might be interested for you. So the format is going to be a full practice with all the practice programs in order to gain research points, then a short qualifying, so an 18-minute single qualifying session, and then a 35% race, so medium race size for a little bit of action and a little bit of strategy at play. That's going to be the weekend structure, and here the journey actually starts. So we created our team. Obviously we have our own team colors attached. For the engine, we have decided to go with the Mercedes engine, despite it being the most expensive and is like really cutting us short when it comes to the second driver. However, the Mercedes engine is not only the most reliable, it's also the most powerful. So, it's always good to have a great powertrain with you. For teammate then, we went for Richard for sure. Simply because out of the reason that I haven't gone with a sponsor that it was giving us the most signing bonus at the beginning of the season, but also the one that is giving us the most weekly bonus or weekly payments. So I figured, over the course of the season, that might be the more intriguing and more important thing to have. Besides not having the maximum payout straight away in the beginning. So that's about the team setup. Obviously everything starts at 0. You got the slowest car. Well, we got the slowest car. We got the least developed facilities and so on. So everything starting from scratch. And last but not least, about the settings, we're going to raise 103% AI. That is what I found from the gaming I did before with the game, to be something that is challenging and to be something that is still rewarding if I do a good job. Simulation settings are set to be elite, and all the other settings such as safety car, red flags, damage and so on is set to default. And with that, guys, intro is done. Let's jump into our first weekend here, the Bahrain Grand Prix, the season opener for 2024. But before we really jump into our first race weekend, guys, put it down in the comments area below. What is your thought? What is your expectations? And of course, please, some feedback once you go through the first episode of this series. Is that something that suits you? Is it something where I need to do a much better job on, or anything else that you want to let me know for further improvements? Would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay. So then, summing up free practice, we have achieved a perfect race strategy, track acclimatization and tire management throughout all the free practice sessions. So that means positives for us on the weekend and on the car development. As we see, practice programs passed, also our teammate was productive. That gave us 1,340 resource points, and as you can see right here, additional power perks for the race and for the development of the car, meaning we need less resource points in order to further improve the car here as we progress along the season. That was actually kind of a lot gadgets that we got here, but most importantly also thanks to the good practice results, we claimed a good amount of acclaim boost for the teams, acclaim to new sponsors, so that's going to be important throughout the season, as this will be down to getting more funds in order to further improve the car. So then, short before the qualifying, driver stats, we have no rival to be set yet. This is our R&D department. We have started with an aerodynamic upgrade to come, and therefore we now invest into the chassis, getting a new plank hopefully for the next race. Probably is going to take a little longer. Powertrain is really good, as we spoke about, taking the Mercedes engine, and the durability hopefully not to be that much of an issue just yet. Then into the next session we go, and that is qualifying. So in the qualifying then, 18 minutes, a quick check on the setup. Bahrain, interesting track, and straight away we jump into our fastest attempt. This is the rest of the outlap with 1 minute to go, so it was indeed the third attempt here. That was the fastest, setting the ERS mode to hot lap, and then yeah, almost lost it there onto the run towards the start finish straight, DRS wide open onto the lap. And then guys, in the free practice, especially when I tried for quali runs, I have outbroke myself so bad into turn 1 all the time. This was a rather decent approach, slightly missed the apex, a slight little bit of oversteer on the exit, but not too bad, as you can see on the Delta, quite identical to the try we did before. A small lockup here into turn 4, didn't cost too much time, a little bit more of boosting. I actually like that you have the ability to use the battery at your disposal a little bit during the quali run and not have that static hot lap mode only. Another corner that I tend to screw up quite a lot, turn 10. This one was literally one of the best turn 10s I've done in the entire event so far, and you immediately see that on the Delta, going up for half a tenth of improvement, using a bit more boost here, and going up the hill and leaning as much as possible on the aerodynamical performance of the car. A corner that I had huge issues with as well, turn 13, highly technical corner, and I tend to screw it up wherever, whether that is R Factor 2 or here in F1. Anyway, 2.5 tenths up on ourselves. Final turn, really just a safety exit, because this is where I lost a lot of time last lap. And then with a 3/10 improvement, we jump into 10th position, and that is actually not that bad of a result considering where our teammate is with a 130.3. So 1.8 seconds down, as we're going to see in the results file in a moment.
With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So that has been a clear indication of where the car currently sits, at least I'd say half a second, maybe even 6/10 down, depending on how good Richard for sure really is compared to the other guys. And yeah, 93% AI meant I had the chance to put the car at least into P10, which gave us a little bit more acclaim boost for future sponsors, so that's good and great. And then it was already time to jump into the race.
Qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Mitchell, Gasly, Ricciardo, Stroll, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Albon, Joe, Ocon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Sargent, and Richard Verschoor. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
So, P10 on the grid and strategies to be chosen. I certainly wanted to do a one-stop, and I was a bit suspicious about that hard stint, so I changed that to the medium and also made the soft stint just one lap shorter to capitalize more on the durability of the medium tire. Additionally, I felt like it was a smart idea to remove some fuel. Whether that was really smart or not, we're probably gonna find out in the race. As the series is with Formation Lab, this is where we started to practice about our start, and well, we had lots of wheel spin, really lots of wheel spin, so we wanted to do that better for the actual race. At the end of the lap, parking the car with just 20 centimeters to spare, so that is a good parking position indeed.
Keep an eye on the lights.
And then we were waiting for the lights. An absolutely disastrous start. Immediately losing 4 or 5 positions. So I was like, yeah, dive bomb it straight away back into turn 1. Got extremely tight, a couple of argy-bargy on the left and right hand side, got a couple of hits. Thankfully no damage as this hit on Tsunoda could have actually meant front wing gone. And I'm pretty sure if I would have been in a Ferrari, that front wing would have been gone. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I need to somehow cool down. What I actually found out is that we have started on our Q3 tires, or on our qualifying tires, which meant not the biggest of grip available. I seen that at the end of the first sector, so I was like, okay, I really need to be careful here, as we were going around the outside on Tsunoda for 13th place at the moment, and then we were trying to somehow keep up with the pack, as this already sums up the activities from lap 1.
Okay, clear.
Then into lap 4, Kevin Magnussen out of the race, so that's good for our teammate Richard Verschoor, who was currently in 20th place and not even last. As Hulkenberg was one of the only guys together with Magnussen to start on the hard. However, we were under pressure, we were out of battery here beginning of lap 5, and Tsunoda had an easy pass on us straight away. We jumped into his slipstream, trying to stick with him in DRS, recharging our battery as good as possible for future battles. In lap 9 then, according to our strategy, we were expected to be in pit road at the end of this lap.
Okay, pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Remember the speed limit, of course, that's what we always do. No new challenge for us as we followed Tsunoda right into the pit lane, heavy on the brakes, to the line, pit limit on, and a 10-second penalty. Like, I couldn't believe it. This was insane. I was questioning what I saw on the screen, but first we had to focus on the pit stop itself. And drama at the pit stop as well. Instead of a 2.5, wrong gear selection as well. 4.8 seconds. Drama in pit road, destroying a good result here. But the question to me was, what has actually happened?
Right rear wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put that behind us now and get back into this race.
And I wasn't referring to the rear right wheel on the pit stop. I was referring to the pit entry. Look at the top, current speed and distance. And it hits 80 right on the same moment when the distance was 0, but it turned green right after the pit lane. And I think this is where the game has triggered the penalty. It is, I think, the most unjustified speeding penalty I've ever received in my career.
Okay, the
So,
next car is one of the Williams.
F124
Okay,
with a
so
buck
leading our teammate
as its
by
best.
12.3 seconds.
Anyway,
Safety car,
the only
safety
thing
car. No
that we
overtaking,
could be
reduce your
hoping
pace.
for
Keep your delta number positive as we form up. Right, drop
was
your
the
speed.
safety
Our
car.
delta's too low and we're gonna
And
risk a penalty.
unbelievably,
Slow your pace
in lap
immediately.
11 it came. And I was opportunistic on it. I was like, get rid of the 10-second penalty, get a fresh set of medium tires on, start from the very back of the grid, but that way try to get a good result in. Because when the field is tight, a 10-second penalty is not going to get you anywhere, and I had to create some offset compared to the other drivers somehow. So we went into the pits, served our 10-second penalty. The crew this time then did a good job fitting the tires on the car.
Right, let's go. Come on. Perfect job from you.
I
and the
slept a
crew
little
there,
bit
mate.
by
We're
releasing the
delighted with
clutch
that.
too early, but generally speaking, we were out
Pit
on
strategy
track again.
complete. See these tyres through to the
And
end now.
yeah, we had to catch up on the queue of the safety car, which was done 1.5 laps after. So with 7 laps to go, we were getting ready for the restart. And well, how you would expect it from the AI, 19 or 21 people ahead of you simultaneously picking up the pace, because AI knows things you don't know, right? So no real chance for us to do in turn 1, but we went for a dive anyway, even on our teammate. Was safe and sound. Teammate didn't lose any positions. It was pointless because he would lose out against the Red Bull anyway. Sad story for him, but here we were. We knew exactly we had to do the moves on this lap in order to somehow sneak our way back towards the top 10 position where we initially started. So I went for another opportunistic dive right into a small gap arising besides Nico Hülkenberg, and then I took it on for show as well. That was not really planned in the first place, but when I saw the opportunity, I just went for it. From here on, obviously, it was about to be a little bit more difficult as the field started spreading out straight away. However, I decided to try and keep as close as possible to Sargent, closer than he was to Bottas ahead, and trying to somehow capitalize on something that may or may not occur.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
And with the DRS being enabled straight away after the first lap, I thought, okay, maybe on the approach to turn 4 there is an opportunity, so we depleted the battery as much as possible and set in for another lunge. It was a very late lunge, but eventually things went super well with it. So next up then was Bottas. At the same time, as you can see, the gap's half second. I was feeling the tires starting to lose some ground, but then suddenly we turned in for turn 10 and Bottas went wide. I almost ran into the back, destroying my front wing. However, that gave me the opportunity to pull up alongside, and with smart battery movement, eventually getting the move done into turn 11, and into P15 we went. So we are jumping into the crunch time. In the next 2 laps I closed the gap to Ocon and Albon, who were in a fight, and as we are starting lap 18 out of 20, we are deep in the draft, actually going for a 3 wide move here into turn 1. And we couldn't do it without contact, and Jesus, I thought I'm gonna spin out here. That was a very, very interesting situation right there. Eventually the guys got a run on me again for turn 4, but we were able to keep the position. So 2 positions gained, but let's have a look what has actually happened as we went in a double draft, double slipstream on the inside, making it 3 wide. And I feel like the guys have simply turned in on me. Like, I think I have been sufficiently alongside, and we're gonna have another look from the onboard of Esteban Ocon here. And I think here you can clearly see these guys are just sort of turning in, and then, yeah, the gap no longer existed, the space just vanished. Anyway, that was not it, as Ocon was on our rear wing for all the lap after, wanted to desperately get that position back, and I did not want to give up on course, of course. So we kept side by side, went for a late dive, locked the fronts, and once again contact there with Ocon, and I think he then got into a argy-bargy together with Albon from behind. Yeah, let's have another look from the onboards. I think I run a bit wide, but again here, I think after the actual apex, Ocon simply turns in on me, so we will see that again from a different perspective, this time from the onboard from Ocon. And there you see then clearly I was alongside, and it is not even a big contact, like the game making a huge drama out of it with the sounds and the physics. However, he lost the position against Albon then, as we had a DRS from braking way later than him into turn 1. And guys, then the final lap came. We had a 10-second penalty for Tsunoda, but we were sitting in 13th place with our last bit of energy defending from Albon, who would have had a run on us this lap for sure. And yeah, that means P12 in the first race. You see it a bit on the reaction. P12 obviously a bit disappointing after starting 10th, but after all, not really a bad result.
Wild weekend of Formula 1 action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Especially when we're looking into where our teammate has finished, because after the restart we lost 16 seconds to the lead. Richard finished 17th after all, so he even made some moves, and that was very, very important here for our acclaim boost. Almost got a new level for him, but certainly got the team straight away to level 4, so that is great news for the sponsors. We have had no damage deductions, which is amazing, and a good base payout, so we got a couple of monies for future investments. And guys, that is it. That is the first weekend done. I hope you have enjoyed this format. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I would appreciate you guys' feedback on the format, on the overall style. Put it down in the comments area below. Let me know what you think. The next video is going to be then about the week that we spent between this race and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Quickly updates from the factory, and once again then practice as a summary with the resource points, qualifying the best lap, and race highlights, just as you've seen it right here. Guys, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you really enjoyed that, and have a good time.